GeoGuessr is a game that exists, and it has a multiplayer mode, but it wasn't always that way. Kinda. The multiplayer that most people are familiar with wasn't really a thing until 2019 with the introduction of the challenge mode. This game came out in 2013. That's a long time. But what if I told you there was a multiplayer mode ever since the game's inception? An ancient method that hasn't been used for millennia and has laid dormant for centuries. It's hyperlinks. It was sharing hyperlinks. You could share the link to your game with a friend and compete with the same locations, except with no time limit and no health bar. You would just finish the game and see who got the closest to 25,000 points, like in a traditional game of GeoGuessr. You would play this mode like when you had the computers in English class and you were supposed to be researching a paper, but I don't really feel like it. Plus, I'm gonna get it done tomorrow anyway. Trust me, I got it. Let's just play the funny map game. This has no correlation to me failing English, I swear. Ranked play wasn't added for the Battle Royale modes and duels until 2021, and that's really the beginning of the competitive scene for a wider audience, including myself. The Battle Royales are there, I will admit that they exist, but are mostly disposable, fun for a cheap thrill once in a while, but where boys become men is the Ranked Duels tab. This is the mode where both players have a health bar of 6,000 points and try to knock each other's health bar down by guessing closer to the correct location, with damage multipliers going up every round and a healing round for some reason. Ranked Duels is simultaneously the most rewarding and fun multiplayer experience while also being the most rage-inducing shit show to ever enter my browser tab. And I have watched Dark Side Phil videos.
Why am I toxic?
I feel like this can be said of most competitive games, but there are a few aspects of the game that differentiate it just the slightest bit. My main issue stems from the damage multiplier system. While ingenious, it seems to only work to perfection at the highest levels of play, where the game continues on for many rounds with each team slowly whittling down the health of their opponent. At lower levels, it don't really work like that. You can play the cleanest game of your entire life for 5 or 6 rounds and then guess Moscow because there was Cyrillic everywhere and you were in a big city, but it was actually Vladivostok and your opponent apparently lives there, and guessed at the correct intersection because he's just better at the game. And I know that this is a sentiment that will be held with this point. Just get good, you're just shit at the game, which is true, I can't deny that. And I actually enjoyed that challenge, but I feel like a majority of people definitely do not. How am I supposed to explain to them that you should learn meta play and in-game locations of the Google car? And even when you spend hours studying the different bollards and in-game car meta, you still might get your ass kicked in one round. Personally, I find these things rewarding, but another problem that this game presents is the various different metas that exist. There is a meta for absolutely everything in this game.
In this video, I'm also going to cover some more meta tips where it's maybe not more things you would see in real life, but things that are distinct to the coverage of Google. And one of those being this blur you get on the camera in North Kalimantan in Indonesia.
Huh?
Do you know you're in Mongolia because you see the roof rack with the snorkel and the iconic Mongolian car here?
What? Oh yeah, that's looking like Canadian moose meta. That's how you know you're in Canada. Oh yeah, so this one here is the 14-mile-an-hour speed limit meta. What the fuck even is this thing? This can be a good mechanic, and if you try hard enough, you can improve incredibly quickly. But it can also feel like memorizing flashcards and incredibly monotonous. I see this as a large barrier to entry for most people, and I don't blame them for that. When trying a game for the first time, it's generally understood that you won't be very good until you play the game enough, but I don't feel that GeoGuessr's path for growing and getting better at the game will be enticing to people who aren't complete geography nerds and know that Curacao is in fact a country and has Google car coverage. Although I've talked mostly negatively of the game, GeoGuessr is actually fun. Okay, hear me out. The concept for Ranked Duels is rock solid, and really the only way I could picture a truly competitive game mode in GeoGuessr. And if you do ever get interested in learning the minutiae and quirks that come with the Google car, it can be incredibly rewarding just beating your opponent by simply knowing more than them. The path to getting better at this game may be disinteresting to some, but is really simple, and every player's skill ceiling is basically the same. And while learning admittedly trivial facts about the different countries of the world, you are still learning something along the way. You may be asking yourself, do I have any solutions to the problems I presented? And I think my honest response to that would be, you suck, I win, get better at the game, bye bye.